You are here live with Coach Lew at Accelerate Life University, your #1 source for self-education success. XLR8life.com. Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8life.com. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew. Here's Coach Lew.
All right, guys. It is Coach Lew. Welcome aboard this morning, guys. Note to self. Do not click randomly on a screen on your software while you are in the pre-log. I accidentally hit the wrong button because I was trying to figure out how to make sure I'm live on all sources. And hit the wrong button and I couldn't get back, and there's me looking all confused on your screen. Just goes to prove I'm human, guys. So I heard an interesting quote recently, and it was, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Interesting comment. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Think about that for a second. We've had historical patterns, but it doesn't exactly repeat. It doesn't go like by a playbook. You can see, you can anticipate, but it doesn't go exactly as you always think. So let me ask you a question. Did you ever wake up in the morning recently and go, the whole freaking world's in trouble? I mean, really? Look around you and go, it's really in trouble? Do you fear for your future and your children's futures right now? If you didn't, you're probably oblivious and living under a rock or in the forest somewhere. Okay? Do you feel flat out paralyzed, like you don't know what to do, or you have to wait and see, so you do nothing? Okay, you got to wait and see. Don't do this right now. Don't invest. Don't spend any money. Don't buy a home. Don't buy an investment. Don't buy a car. Don't do anything because we got to wait and see what's happening. Okay, the good news is you're not alone. For anyone to say that these are not unprecedented times would be absolutely crazy, right? I mean, we've seen some stuff lately that you wouldn't have a clue of how to deal with initially and go, oh my God, 2 years ago we thought the world was going to shut down and half of us were going to die. Okay? One thing I told you through that whole thing is we are going to come out the other side of this, and we're on the other side of it. Now it went from COVID to riots to this, that, the other. But the fact is, we're still standing, guys. If you're on the show, you're still standing. You may have lost businesses, you may have lost loved ones, you may have lost money, you may have gotten filthy rich through this pandemic. There are people that just absolutely accelerated through the pandemic thing, okay? And a pandemic, I believe, has a lot more deaths. So I really don't like that word. Yeah, we had a nasty disease that got dumped on our country somehow, and it hurt some people, yes. But the good thing is, you're on the show. You're still standing, right? Okay? So, yeah, the truth is, we're facing challenges like no time ever in history before, and you go, there's nothing to historically back up what we should do. At the same time, we're facing some of the biggest opportunities we can imagine if, and there's a big if right here, okay? We take control of our own emotions, responses, and course of life. Hear that and hear that loud and clear. Take control of your emotions, your responses, and your course of life. Write that down. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, nobody is coming to rescue you, guys. There's no miracle politician who's going to fix the disaster in Washington. There's no miracle vaccine that is going to protect you from everything and anything. And for sure, damn straight for sure, no news network that has your best interests at heart, nor is willing to broadcast the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Remember how you're supposed to testify in court? The positive side of life, nor are they ever going to stop promoting fear. You know why? Fear sells, okay? See, that's what I don't want to do. When you come to me in the morning on Monday morning, I don't want to instill fear in you. I want to instill, some pain to get you moving towards pleasure, okay? The news wants to keep you paralyzed with fear and watching them, because the more you watch them, the more their advertisers can pay because their ratings are up. Don't kid yourself if you don't think that it's all about how many eyes they can get on it. Guess what? I'm kind of like the media. I want the eyes and ears right here on Breakthrough with Lew so you can grow. The difference is the motivation behind it. The media's motivation is to captivate you and hold you and keep you paralyzed so that they can dump into your head all the advertising and everything else they want to while you're there. While I want you to grow and think for yourself. Okay? Let me give you an example of this. Hurricane. Have you ever been in Florida during a hurricane? About a week out, Hurricane Sally is coming. It's going to be the biggest hurricane in the decade, of the century. It could eat the entire state of Florida. People start to focus their attention to the TV. They start to focus their attention to boarding up buildings, this, that, and the other. So about 3 days, okay, from it, it's coming, you might want to evacuate, now get your pets out, and all, and all this stuff, and people are taking their pets to these bunkers and stuff to keep them safe and paying hundreds of dollars, and and then a day away, imminent disaster for the state of Florida as Hurricane Sally is going to ravage the, oh wait, Hurricane Sally just turned north and went back out in the ocean. How many times has this happened, guys? All right, if you don't live in Florida, you've watched it. Oh my God, you guys up north, or you've never been here for a hurricane, you have got to, what you imagine a hurricane being, and we've been hit by a few. I've been here for some pretty major storms. The worst of them being Andrew in Miami. That was a train wreck afterwards. I was down there right afterwards, but it definitely did. It was one of the most damaging, but it still didn't eat the state. Okay, still didn't kill half of our population. So that's the whole point. But you guys have a whole different version of hurricane in your head than, what they show you here and there of a roof coming off and bodies flying through. That's not really the majority of a hurricane. Okay, so just so that I get family worried, still to this day. Are you going to get out of there? Are you going to come up? No, it's a storm. Okay, so, but that's my point. The media sensationalizes that you've lost a week of your life, your business, and lots of money, and, you know, spent money on different things like hurricane supplies and canned foods that you'll never eat again. Hopefully you're not eating food out of a can. But that was the fear factor, because fear sells. How about COVID? Oh, all right, initially, there's this new virus running around. Does this sound like it rhymes with AIDS? Okay, remember when AIDS came out, if you're old enough to remember that? It was a little article, I'll never forget reading that. I was in school and reading it in Time magazine about this very deadly little disease that only affects a tiny little bit of the population, and you know, and then all of a sudden it hits, and it's, you know, everybody's gonna die from AIDS. Everybody's going to die from COVID. Everybody's going to die from Ebola. I mean, we've heard this time and time and time again. It's the same thing. It rhymes. Run out and get a vaccine that's, you know, experimental, and, you know, your arms could fall off, and your stuff could dry up, and your eyes can dry up and rot away in your head, or, you know, you can become sterile, but yeah, you might not get this flu. Or, as in most people that have had COVID will tell you, that we're also vaccinated. They still got COVID. Interesting, isn't it? But my point is not to bash or not bash whether you stuck a mask on your face or still do, God forbid. Unless you got a major health issue, please don't wear a mask, folks. You are sucking in your own carbon dioxide. But, you know, the scare came, it went, it's over. COVID still exists, people still get sick, and 99.9 something percent of them recover fully. Okay, so there it is. But the news and the media has stolen 2 years of your life. Okay? 2 years of your life. Now, there are a few people that I know, a couple of people, less than I can count on one hand, that actually died of COVID by itself. And my hearts go out to their families. But so does my heart go out to the 50 or 60 families I know that lost people to cancer last year. You see where the scales tip? You're not seeing a lot of that on the news because, well, that's, you know, there's nothing to be made on that, okay? Nobody's going to go give you a cancer vaccine, okay? Nobody's giving you a cancer preventative pill, okay? The costs are there, it's there, but nobody's paying attention to it because it doesn't sell media time and it doesn't sell products, okay? There are products that are good towards keeping your body healthy and prevention and so forth. But that's not the focus of the media. As a matter of fact, they want to put stuff like that down. Like they want to put down the use of activated charcoal. Oh, that could be dangerous. It could give somebody a little constipation if they took too much. But yet they use that in an emergency room setting when your body is poisoned by something and it saves lives. But yet a little bit in your food they get nervous about. But we'll inject you with stuff with all kinds of toxins and chemicals in it that you don't even know what the hell is going in you. And you'll go, okay, the news said it's okay. So my point is, it's not to bash whichever side of any of these things you're on, because everybody has a little different feeling about the COVID thing. How about the promoting hate? Oh my God, if the media that you're seeing isn't promoting hate in communities, people that you would normally walk down the street and smile and say hello to, now are looking at you like they're your enemy, maybe because your skin color is different, or maybe because who you love or what religion you practice, or, all of a sudden everybody's worried somebody's going to, well, no kidding. Because the thing that was before, you'd walk down the street, you'd see a person as a person. Hey, how you doing? Good, how are you? Hold the door for somebody, thank you. You didn't go, are they this, are they that, or do they not like me because this? Or that really wasn't out there very much. There's always a couple of radicals here and there that are going to hate somebody for totally unfounded reasons, but that's not the majority. You don't hate your neighbor because of what color they are, or what kind of kids they have, or what kind of car they drive, or who they pray to, when they go to church on whatever day they go, or whatever they call their worship. You don't really hate them for that. Now, if you hate your neighbor because they're obnoxious and they do stupid stuff and their lawn is dying and they have just drug traffic going in and out of the house, then you hate your neighbor for a reason. But you don't hate your neighbor for the basics of how they want to live their life or what they want to believe, right? But the news would make you think so. Oh, you start looking at your neighbor like, oh, they're going to break into my house because they're this or that, or, are we going to fight, because the news said that there's a riot, clear across the country, and, obviously we have to hate each other? No, that's ridiculous, and you know it. But my point is nobody's going to come rescue you. Nobody's going to come in and go, "Ooh la, the country is going to be at peace." No, not going to happen. It starts in your own neighborhood. Treat your neighbors decent. Hold the door for people no matter what. If you're walking in somewhere, open the door for somebody. If you see somebody on the street, make eye contact and smile. That is the fastest way to diffuse people feeling uncomfortable or disliked. Treat each other decent. It's pretty simple. News flash. Okay, Coach, you're telling me, Coach, I know nobody other than God is going to just show up and save us, right? Okay, so what do we do? What do we do? Are we on this journey all by ourselves? Do you want the truth? Can you handle the truth? You are going to save you. And you're like, yeah, but it's my government's responsibility. It's my parents' responsibility. They should take care of me. They should pay for this, or the system. No, stop it. Stop it. You are responsible for you, no matter what your bullshit excuse of why you haven't been successful up until this point, or why this happened to you, or why it's different for you. There's a million people in your shoes. And about 500,000 of those people are way above and past forward and really rocking and rolling that experience the same trauma or deal you did. Then there's another 500,000 below you that are still on their journey or using a bunch of big fat excuses as to why they can't succeed. And you might be going, Coach, open your eyes. Our economy's in shambles. Washington's in shambles. No kidding. Okay, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. Elon will tell you. He could tell, if he's looking at this stuff, he'd go, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in shambles. Is he broke? Is he falling out of business? Is he, No, he's succeeding at levels like no tomorrow. What about you? Well, I'm scared for my job. My house payment went up. I don't know how I'm going to pay for the food. How? Let's face it. How are you going to do it? Figure it out. Other people are. Okay, and I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm trying to give you that little pain kick in the butt to go step it up. So you want to really know how to get control. You want to really know how to save yourself here. And not only save yourself, but go forward. There's 4 keys. Just 4 little keys. Number 1 is perception. Okay? Nothing, and I mean nothing, has any meaning except for the meaning you assign to it. You might go, oh, no. When something happens, it happens. Yeah. But I mean, come on. I'm not a fan of Oprah's. She stirs a lot of things in our communities and, pits people against each other, men against women, this, that. She's very, I don't love some of her stuff, but then some of her stuff is great. Okay, but I'm going to use her as an example. Chick was born, to a crackhead mother, in somewhere in Chicago, and basically you would have thought she had no opportunity in life. Got pregnant as a child herself, had a stillborn baby, which would screw you up at that age, and went through all kinds of abuse, which I find is deplorable. Okay, whether I totally agree with the way she runs her show and everything today. She does a lot of good too, but we're not exactly on the same page. But okay, her perception of everything that happened to her in life could be, I can just be a drug addict and live in a warehouse somewhere because look at what I've been through. No, her perception was, let me make sure that I use this to help other people. Okay, and she has helped a lot of people. Like I say, don't always agree with everything and the way she says stuff. And some of the dissension that, it's the things that she says creates in our communities. But she's also given people the feeling of stepping up and going and owning their own responsibility and perceptions. Because where would she be if she was just perceived that she was just going to be another junkie in the hood? No, she decided she was going to go and serve above and beyond herself, and I highly respect that. That's great. Her perception was, this is the wind behind my sails to make sure other people in that situation can grow and be strong and become something. Isn't that amazing? That's all perception. Okay? Number 2, own that you are in control of your emotions and reactions. Oh, no, that jerk off cut me off in no. Yeah, the jerk off cut you off in traffic. Is the person that didn't bother to use their traffic signal a jerk off? Probably. Or were they, rushing to the hospital because their child is there and there's an emergency? Little different take on that. You don't know. But if you just go, oh yeah, gotta love the way they use their directionals, but really honestly, I avoided colliding with them, it's okay. And you might go, hey, use your directional when you pass them, or you might go, which one's going to get a better reaction out of them? They might wave and say, oh, sorry, I didn't see you. And then you'd feel like a jerk if you got, both traffic fingers going in the air, right? So control your emotions and your reactions. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, your first emotion might be, rah, to flip out, or your first emotion might be, whew, that was close. Good thing we didn't connect. Reactions, you could smile and they get a reaction out of them where they go, ooh, sorry, dude. Or you could just carry on and not let it affect you. Or you can be an absolute raving, foaming at the mouth, and next thing you know, you're punching and kicking each other in the street with a road rage thing going on, and everybody's going to jail. Okay? Where did that come from? It didn't come from the fact they didn't use a directional and cut you off. It came from your emotions and reactions. And theirs, if you provoke. Okay, number 3. You assign the meanings in your life. Okay? You assign what it means to you. Using the Oprah example, going through a hell of a childhood, what did that mean to her? That meant to her to have tools to help other people not do that, or to pull themselves out of that kind of life and go forward. Okay? The other meaning could have been, well, I'm never going to be anything, and you wouldn't know who the hell the girl is today. Okay? So think of it that way. All right? Meanings in my life. I hit a point where I got fat. Okay? Maybe not by your standard. Maybe I was super fat by your standard. I don't know. But by mine, I had to admit one day I was fat, not a little robust or doing well in business. And the meaning of that was I took off the weight. I got in shape. I gained the energy. The meaning was that gave me the ability to walk in somebody's shoes who needs help through that. Not poor me, oh, my family genetics, they were all heavy, or oh, I didn't have the education in that, or I didn't have the great childhood growing up, or the leadership. Bull crap. The meaning is it gave me a tool to help other people because I was able to walk in their shoes. Okay? Number 4, you take responsibility for you. Okay? You don't adopt the entire country's problems onto yourself and go, oh, I'm responsible. You're responsible for the change. You're responsible for your behavior. You're responsible for your input and the way you are. You can't control what's happening in Washington. Okay? We can band together and say, hey, these gas prices got to stop. This has got to stop. We need to get this country under control, everything else. But you take responsibility for you first, okay? If you're going, oh, this inflation is so horrible, but you took extra loans and business money and stuff that you didn't need during the pandemic and, spend it on fun stuff instead of employees and everything else. I heard some reports on that there was massive fraud and misuse. There were a lot of people that collected unemployment while they were still working, okay? That's wrong. That's taking responsibility for you. Just because you can doesn't always mean you do. And just because somebody tells you can't doesn't always mean you don't. It's are you doing the fraudulent, rotten thing, or are you doing something to step up? It was like during the pandemic, oh, nobody should be working. Well, we didn't close our doors at all. We innovated. We changed the way we were doing things to keep people safe in the event that it was worse than it was or whatever. But we innovated, and we didn't sit there and take government money and sit at home and gain the COVID 10 or 20 pounds, or worse yet, the people that really didn't want to be stuck at home and didn't want to lose their careers, that killed themselves because they were so put out because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to handle this. Suicide was at a record high. And again, I find suicide to be a very selfish way out with what you do to your family and loved ones, but it's got to be a very bleak situation. How bad must you feel to actually follow through with that? That's got to feel pretty rotten. I mean, we've all had a dark moment in our life, or a dark hour, where you might have said, gosh, is it really worth living? Or, am I really worthy of life, or something like that? But, most people, as we know, don't follow through on that. But taking responsibility for you, when you walk out that door in the morning, do you walk out going, it's going to be another day, got to go on that treadmill at work, gotta go deal with the boss? Or do you go in and go, you know what? I'm not totally happy with where I'm at in my career, so I'm going to go in with a better attitude. I'm going to put more forth today and see if I can't make a difference. And ultimately, if you're in a situation where you can't make a difference, that taking responsibility for yourself on that really doesn't change things, change your environment. Same thing with a relationship. Oh my God, I hear it all the time. Oh, my spouse this. And people bitching about their spouses. Well, if it's really that bad, why don't you get a divorce? Oh, well, oh, okay. So you're really not taking responsibility for the way you show up. You want to blame it on your spouse. Now, some people go home and get beaten horribly, or tortured, or rotten things happen to them in a marriage. Then you get out, okay? But you got to take responsibility for you there too. How many times have we seen it? The police say, oh, we've been to that house 25 times for domestic and she just won't press charges. At what point is that really her fault for not getting out? Well, I don't have any money, or I can't, I don't want to pull the kids away from their dad. The man is beating you to death, okay? That is, there's a point where it's his fault, and there's a point where it becomes your fault, or vice versa. Sometimes it's in the reverse. It's a point where it becomes your fault if you don't make some change. So take responsibility for you. And I know I'm using some really drastic examples there, and it makes people squirm because they're like, oh, domestic violence and stuff, that's a whole different animal. Yeah, it's a nasty animal, and it shouldn't occur. But there is a point where you've got to say, how long do you stay? How long do you tolerate something like that? How long do you tolerate it in a job, or in yourself, or tolerate anything if it is not what is serving you, and you can't serve back to your world, your family, your community, because something's holding you back? But it's what point are you holding you back that you got to ask it. Whew, God, yeah, okay, this is deep. So the other thing is, okay, in retrospect now, stop putting off your next step until you fill in the blanks. Feel safe. The government protects you. We get a new president, or the president we have figures something out. Or, until my community lifts this restriction, or until, the real estate prices go down, until, you're going to until yourself till the end of time. Folks, we're not going back to the 1950s and the Barney Fife days. We're not going back to the 60s and the summer of love, and the 70s, where it was like, life was simpler, or the 80s where we really started to blossom, or the 90s with the technology explosions, or the 2000s. Remember, we thought we were all going to cease to be on, January 1st, 2020, or 2000, because of the, the new millennium, and nothing could handle it. And look how far we've come. Look at all the cool stuff we have at our fingertips. But, somebody said, oh yeah, I want to get a new phone, but I don't know, it's going to be $30 more a month on my bill, but it would help me be more, productive at work. But I don't know. You don't know what's going to happen with the government. If you're worried about $30 a month, you better really step up. Okay, if you're talking $30,000 a month, or talking about buying a home, and this is a whole different offshoot, and I got to agree with Grant Cardone and many other heavy-duty financial advisors that your own home is not your best investment. It's not an investment, it's a liability. You might love it, it might be great, but understand that's not an investment. Because people are like, I made 100 grand on my house from when I bought it. Yeah, but you paid 200,000 worth of interest over that time and in taxes and everything else, and you start to go, oh, maybe it wasn't such a good investment. But that's a whole talk for a different day. So step up today and own the fact that you're responsible. You, me, we're all responsible, I keep hitting that mic, for your emotions, your actions, your decisions, and make that serve you, not stop you. Would you rather do something and jump out there and do something in a big way and fail massively and learn massively and grow than tiptoe around everything and just kind of be in the background of success and go, yeah, I wonder. So the other thing is, okay, stop blaming the XYZ for what you do or don't have. It's not the government's fault. It's not the Russians' fault. It's not the oil company's fault. We don't take a stand on this stuff. You want to make change? Okay, don't go burn each other's buildings down and fight with each other in the streets and everything else. We're on the same team here, folks. It doesn't matter what you believe, who you are, what color you are. We're on the same team. You hit the business, the big business, or the government agencies in the pockets. You hit the money. You move the money to the small businesses. If the big businesses are taking advantage, like the oil companies are, okay, it's amazing to me how we could go to New Smyrna Beach yesterday, which was absolutely phenomenal. Diesel is 30 cents a gallon cheaper. I wonder if they pay less for it at that station than they do the station in Orlando. No. See, that's where you go, you know what? The people that are going to rip us off, we band together and go, don't patronize. Okay, I know everybody loves to go to some of the bigger gas stations that have food and all that, but if they're 30 cents a gallon higher for their fuel and nobody's taking it, stop patronizing inside the store. If we cut them off where they really make their money, because they really don't make much money on fuel, I will give them that. But they're going to push back on the fuel supplier and go, hey, we're going to go out of business because our money is from the food and the fancy coffee and the cigarettes and everything else. If you cut off that income, they're going to get on our side and go, these fuel prices got to go down or we're out of business, or you know what, get your fuel out of here and we're just going to become the lunch spot. Because let's face it, if you're going to go eat at a gas station, Wawa is probably your best bet. But as long as you continue to go in there and spend almost as much on food and accessories and $3 bottles of water when you could get that same bottle of water at Publix for 89 cents, they're not going to get on your side about stepping up and going push back on these gas prices, okay? And that's also another discussion for another day. But, you know, stop blaming XYZ. And that doesn't determine what you do or don't have or what you do or don't do. It's what you do from here forward that determines. Yes, it's going to take effort. Hell yes, it's going to take effort. You don't just go, okay, I'm going to change my attitude each day and go, all right, I'm up. Yeah, here we go. It's just another day. No, you change that attitude. You set it into habit. The past few weeks we've talked about habits and follow through. If you haven't seen them, go back and watch on the blog of the replays because that's important. It's going to take effort. Heck yeah, it's going to take effort. Okay? But I have a foolproof test for you for any decisions you're facing right now. And I'd venture to say you and I both have lots of decisions we're making daily and in our overall picture here. And I know I'm running long this morning. It's called the deathbed test. Okay? On your deathbed, let's use an example. You're thinking of opening a business, but wow, this is really a tumultuous time to open a business. Do we wait until, we can get a better deal on rents if it's a brick and mortar? Do we wait until the economy shifts? Do we wait until people have more money? People aren't going to spend money. Well, if you have a good enough product and you have something that enhances somebody's life or makes their life easier or enhances their business, they're going to spend the money whether it's in a good economy or a bad economy. Look at Amazon. Okay? They're doing amazing. Okay? Bad economy or not, they're doing amazing. Why? Because it's simple. You don't have to drive across town and wait somewhere at $5 a gallon for fuel. It gets delivered to your door, And in some cases, it's more economical than buying it at the store. And in some cases, not. You got to watch that. But, do your deathbed test. Would you rather open a business and really give it your all and grow and all that excitement? Or, when you're going to die someday, you're going to go, yeah, back in 2022, I had this great business idea. And, other people did it after I did. And wow, they had amazing lives. But I didn't think it was the right time. And, and what about people who it was never the right time to have a child and they hit their deathbed and they're like, I really wish I had some family around me right now. But, it was never quite the right time. You had to be ready to do what? Okay, give it the deathbed test. If it's something win, lose, or draw, if it's something that when you are on your deathbed, you go, wow, I'm so glad I experienced that and did that, or that changed my life infinitely, what would you do? Would you look back, if you died today, are there things you would have done differently? Are there things you would have done, period, if you had had more time? That is the biggest way to help make your decisions. Do your deathbed tests. Whew. Okay, so you're ready to take control of this masterpiece called your life, but you need help getting started? Hey, we all do. Sometimes it's very overwhelming, especially right now. You're bombarded. You open up your social media feed and you have ads and this and arguing and blah, 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 blah. Where do you start? Okay? You know where's a great place to start? Right here with me. Okay, watch the blog, the replays. There's a lot of training on there. There's a lot of good stuff, but you still might be going, I need to dig in. Okay, there's an area right now I need to dig into, and I just don't have the time to do all the self-learning, so I'm interviewing coaches for an area of my business that I need to work on. So, same deal. There's areas that I've walked in those shoes, whether it be health and wellness, business, relationships. There's areas I'm very educated in. I can help jumpstart your journey. It's a great way to go. Get a hold of me, right here on the page, send in a contact form, and we can get you started on some coaching right away, whether that's one session a month, one session a week, to get you jump started. Okay? I'm not like a psychologist that wants to, have you come in or get on Zoom, every week and, I'm charging your insurance company insane money and, it doesn't matter if we get results. No, we're going to get results. We're going to get you going and do it quick and not, make you dependent on me for life. Now, you might say, that's not a great business model, Coach. Wouldn't you rather have a bunch of people that have to come every week and you charge them yeah, but you know what? As you grow, there's going to be new hurdles and challenges. You're going to pick up that phone or you're going to email me and go, Coach, okay, things were going great and we really were on track. Now there's something new. I want to grow, or something major has changed and I need some guidance as to how to handle it and change it and work around it. It's always there. So I don't worry about, let me lock you into long-term coaching. I worry more about, how do we get you to get results now? Because you know what? Later on, you're always going to have something to come back to me for. And if you don't, if you never need me again, and you just watch the show and watch the trainings, that's okay too. That's why I'm doing this. I want you to succeed. Unlike a lot of factions in government entities and even other countries and businesses that would rather you don't succeed because it makes you more dependent. It holds you back. It holds you into being their customer. Whatever it is, there are factions that don't want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. Your family wants you to succeed. Okay? And sometimes your family can be your worst enemy too, because you go, I got this great idea. And they go, oh, come on. My sister used to do that to me all the time when I was young. I'd have great ideas, my older sister, and her nickname for me was her little buddy. So, she was a great sister, and, we had a rough upbringing, and she was always there for me, but she had a habit of shooting down with one statement. I'd be like, da, 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 and she'd be like, oh, buddy, come on. Take the wind out of the sails. The person you believe in the most, that's been there for you the most, you tell them this great idea you've got and something you want to do, and they just piss all over it. not intentionally. It was big sister protecting, going, oh God, if he does that, he could fail. He could, something bad could happen. And, the protection factor, that wasn't because she didn't love me. It was because she loved me. But think about that when you're dealing with somebody in your family or in your circles. Don't throw water on somebody's fire, okay? You might help them, guide them. You might work things through with them if you're qualified. But my thing would be if somebody in your family's going, I'm going to do this, and you go, I really don't know how that's going to work. Tell them to go find somebody to mentor, model, coach with that has been there, okay? I love, my grandmother. God, that I love her. I didn't know it wasn't normal to drink a shot and a beer at 10 in the morning, but, she used to watch pro bowling. And oh my God, she was just a pro at watching pro bowling. Look at that hook, woman couldn't bowl a damn game of bowling in her life. But she could, he should have done that. He should have been an inch over. And I'm like, okay, she probably wouldn't have been a good bowling coach because even though she could recognize it and see it, she wouldn't be able to show somebody how to do it. Okay, that's what a coach is. We show you how to do it. We align the mindset right. Okay, so I'm running over time this morning. So remember one thing before we go, guys. You cannot be the best at anything you do, period, without optimal health and energy. If you're lethargic, tired, sickly, all that stuff, weak, you can't be the best husband, wife, spouse, dad, employee, employer, creator, student, whatever it is, if you don't have the health and energy you need. Now, it doesn't mean some people don't have genetic things in that, but even then, if you take the best care of your body and your health, even when challenges come up, you have better chances of overcoming it. This is why I created Heals, the course. And guess what? It's live over at XLR8Life.com. That's XLR, the number 8, LIFE.com. Go there, see Heals, the course. Take this course, guys. This is, I would be cheating you to tell you that this thing isn't life-changing. It goes into every aspect. It's not just a diet. It's not just about physical fitness. We get into stress, stress reduction, stress relief. We get into sleep. We get into proper breathing. We get into balancing and how you do all this in plain you to me talk. I'm not sitting there going, the macronutrients and you need, come on guys, y'all don't want to hear that. You can read that in a book and still walk away from it and go, I have no idea what he is talking about here, okay? So I'm going to give you just a second real quick, and then I'm going to get back to you. So just do it, guys. I mean, I don't know how, with all of what I put into that course, I would be cheating you not to tell you to jump in and do it. It is life-changing. Where do you think I get my energy? Okay, that's no accident. I wasn't born with this. My genetics didn't come with it. Trust me, if you know my family, you know my genetics did not come to be energetic, lean, in fit, and an athlete. Semi-athlete. I mean, I'm not out playing football and stuff like that, but we do a lot of climbing, we do OCR races and so forth, really pushing the limits. But that didn't happen by accident. So get out there, take care of your body, stop making excuses. Let's not blame for where we're at. Let's take it inside and go, how am I going to get it to the next level? I'm ready. You ready to take it to the next level? Let's rock and roll, guys, and do this. Have an amazing day. Live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dreams. This is Coach Lew. Have an amazing day.
Ready to take it to the next level? Next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lew himself. As Coach Lew always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dream.